Yeah, I saw this on Amazon. I thought it was freaking hilarious.
You thought it was freaking weird, so you bought it. I like it.
Oh yeah, perfect. Mob. Well, actually, you know what? Can you explain what this mobbing is? Like, where did we get that from?
Yo, we gonna mob it? Mob. I feel like it was just a term that one of the homies came up with when we were in high school, and it was like
Because you guys had your clique.
because we had our little clique. That's right. So it's just me and a few other guys. These were football guys. One in particular, shout out to Ross. It was like we were done with our lunch, and then he'd be like, "Yo, we gonna mob it," which of course meant once we're done with our food, hey, yo, we gonna walk around, we're gonna be seen. We're gonna
That's
say
pretty
what's
much
up.
what it was. It was like, let's
Basically,
go be seen. It's not even like, let's go hang out.
Yeah. Let's get our walk on. We all had our walks. I don't know. I feel like it was so put on. Like we didn't take ourselves too seriously. So it was like we had our like fake limp.
Oh, of course.
You got to have like that fake.
It was
limp
almost
when you're
exaggerated,
walking, like,
right?
Exactly. You got it because
yeah.
like, ooh, got to ease it. And now I got to take my time on this one.
When Michael told me that story, it just kind of organically became like our go-to. Like, all right, let's mob it.
Let's mob it.
Yeah, when we start the episode for real, we mobbing it.
Yo, we mobbing.
So we mobbing.
Let's mob it.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Afflixionados podcast, episode 11. My name is Eric, and the other voice occupying your head this time is my good friend, colleague, billionaire philanthropist, caped crusader, and co-host, Michael.
Yo, what it do, baby boo?
Thank you to all the listeners out there for joining us. Available on all major podcast streaming services, with new episodes dropping on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. Aflixionados is a podcast where we mainly talk about films that range from mind-numbing to mind-blowing. Occasionally, we may also cover TV shows or other forms of media. It goes without saying. We will be getting into spoilers here, and there will only be the healthiest amount of expletives tossed in. You have been warned. Now, if you ain't ready, then get ready, because in today's episode, we will be discussing The Batman.
Batman.
This came out in 1989, directed by Tim Burton. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And Vicky Vale, obviously. You know,
of course. No, this is The Batman. Came out this year, actually, 2022. Directed by Matt Reeves. I think this might actually be the most recent movie we've ever done up until this point.
Oh yeah, that came up real hot. Yeah, it came up real quick.
We kind of gathered all the guys from work and we all saw this together. We pretty much took up the entire row. I think there was like two people that kind of broke up the chain, but from like the very far side of the right all the way to the left, because you had like the very left flank.
Yeah, that's it. I was covering left flank. That's right. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just holding it down. We were holding it down. Except for those other two folks who were next to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whoever those people were. In this whole theater, every other seat was empty, but there's like two seats right in that middle row. And they're like, yeah, we want those.
Yeah, let me get at those. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me throw out that synopsis and then we'll jump right into the movie. During his second year fighting crime, Batman pursues the Riddler, a serial killer who targets key political figures in Gotham. Batman uncovers corruption that connects to his own family during the investigation and is forced to make new allies in order to bring the Riddler to justice. It's kind of interesting to look at the development of this movie because it wasn't just like hey, we should do another Batman reboot. So Matt Reeves, the director, he created such films as Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, but notably, he has directed two films that I greatly enjoyed myself personally. Let Me In, which is a remake of the Swedish film Let the Right One In. And I still haven't seen that one, but man, I really love Let Me In. And then the other all-time favorite of mine is Cloverfield. So I don't know if you've ever seen that movie or heard of it. But
I didn't know he directed that too. Shoot.
Yeah, I freaking love that movie. I don't know what it was, but I almost felt like it was just a roller coaster ride watching that movie.
Yeah, dang Cloverfield. I didn't realize. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. Not sure I saw that one in theaters, but shout out to him for that.
For this movie, Ben Affleck was originally supposed to reprise the role of Batman / Bruce Wayne after he was cast as the character, for what was like the last few Justice League movies. So I guess even before Justice League, this isn't really considered it, but it's kind of the precursor. But Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. He also went on to play the same character for the 2016's Suicide Squad. So he was kind of like a cameo in that one. And then, of course, 2017's Justice League, which was like, I don't know. That one is, it kind of has the audience split because a lot of people liked the original release. And then now you got like the resurgence of the Snyder cut and whatever. So I don't even want to get in all that. But Warner Brothers had plans to create a standalone Batman film initially. Affleck was going to co-write and direct. So I thought that was pretty interesting because he was basically going to be not only the star, but kind of the driving force behind it as well.
He was going to be the Tom Cruise of it. I got
Yeah, this is just going to be Ben Affleck, the movie.
you. That's right.
Matt Reeves was chosen as the top pick for director after Affleck left. And in 2019, Affleck dropped out of the film altogether due to, I guess, his divorce from Jennifer Garner and his struggles with alcoholism. So he just had a lot of personal demons going on. So I think he stepped down because a lot of people were giving him flack for being the director of this movie. They're like, why don't you just get someone that is seasoned, you know, and is going to be able to handle this? And so I don't know if he just got kind of like pushed out of it. He eventually handed it over to Matt Reeves. And then, after all that stuff went down, Affleck just kind of dropped out of the movie altogether. So he wasn't even involved in this. I think his involvement was kind of in the very early stages where he wrote the script. And I think a lot of it was kind of built off of that. But by that point, it's been like rewritten and a lot of stuff has been kind of moved around. So I don't even know like how close it is to the version that Affleck came up with. But, you know, I feel like at this point, I feel like it's entirely different project.
Yeah, hard to say, but that's interesting. I didn't know all of that backstory about him being that involved in it.
By mid 2019, who walks in? Robert Pattinson. So he wasn't actually the only one to be interested in the role. So it was Robert Pattinson, Nicholas Hoult, Armie Hammer, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. They were all interested in replacing Ben Affleck as Batman. Matt Reeves had Pattinson as his number one choice after seeing his performance in 2017's Good Time.
Whoa.
That was cool because for me, that was the movie that changed my perception of Robert Pattinson. So it's cool that was kind of the same deal for him.
That is cool. That is really cool. That's funny because I can appreciate that performance since you recommended that to me. We haven't covered that, but that was separate. I think that was due to the fact that I had such an appreciation for Pattinson after Tenet. So you were like, you liked him in that. Have you seen him in this though? So I saw Good Times. Yeah, after you told me about that, I saw it and I was like, oh snap, that movie's intense. And
it's a pretty awesome film. I feel like it's one of those artsy movies, but that shit hits hard.
It's like artsy. Like, let them know what do you mean by artsy? That movie is like
the way that it's shot and the way that the atmosphere is kind of presented. I feel like it's a lot different than other movies out there. I think maybe that's why I'm such a big fan of the A24 movies in general. Typically, is because a lot of those movies just kind of seem like high budget indie films, if you will. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but a lot of them seem like it's not, you know, it's definitely not masquerading as like some blockbuster movie, but
sure,
they got some cool shit coming out.
Right. It's funny. It's like yeah, there's so much, you know, these kinds of art films don't really get backed by those kinds of big production companies. So
Pattinson was Matt Reeves' number one choice, but Pattinson himself was actually reluctant to take the role. What I thought was something important to note was that he finally accepted the role and he was cast as Batman. There was an overwhelming backlash from many Batman fans. And I remember this personally. I remember even questioning it myself. I was like, really? They're going to choose Robert Pattinson as Batman? Don't get me wrong. I like Robert Pattinson, but I did not really see him as Batman, especially kind of being this gritty and badass Batman character, you know, this brooding character. I'm like, sure, he was brooding in Twilight, but it's a different style movie altogether, you know? There's almost like this gatekeeper mentality with a character so beloved like Batman. You know, like people only want the cream of the crop, the best of the best to play this character. They don't want to take any risks. They want to only have the big names, and no one else would do. Like, do you remember this Backlash yourself?
You know, I didn't really pay much attention to it. I didn't really see much about this Backlash. All I know is that when I heard that, I just remember thinking like, "Oh, perfect! This is going to be interesting. This would be cool." I'm glad for more than anything else. I just saw this as an opportunity for him to shine. That's all. I was like, okay, well, let's see, because I mean, you can't do much. You can't. I don't know. It's been all over the place with these different performances.
Mm-hmm. So you knew from the get-go he was going to do great.
I was hoping he would, just with the gravitas he brings to at least to Good Times and to a few other performances he has. I've seen him in rather. Yeah, I had a feeling that he would knock it out of the park. I figured he could own it, and in my opinion, he did.
Christian Bale actually publicly supported Pattinson as
Wow.
Batman. So he went on record to speak out directly to Pattinson and tell him to ignore the critics. And he brought up how there was a similar backlash when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker for The Dark Knight. And I remember that as well. I remember everyone was like, "What the fuck? Are you serious? You're gonna follow up the masterpiece of Jack Nicholson's Joker with Heath fucking Ledger, who has like
right.
not proved himself in any capacity that he can play this role."
Like Knight's Tale? That guy?
That guy. But you know, it's similar situation. It's like someone stepping out of that comfort zone, breaking the mold, and challenging themselves, you know, like really stepping up to the plate to prove everyone wrong. And now you look at it in hindsight, a lot of people, including me, think that's the best depiction of Joker so far.
It's true. And it's funny, they both started off as teen heartthrobs, Heath Ledger and Pattinson.
Mm-hmm. That's right. When Christian Bale brought that up, I was like, that's exactly the same situation. You know, you had someone that was stepping into this high profile role that everyone had a ton of high expectations for, and he knocked out of the park. And I feel like Robert Pattinson, he did the same thing. He brought his own Batman to this character. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just gonna do something along the same lines as everyone else. I feel like he was still able to add his own flair to it, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, another thing to note in this movie, because I felt like I really appreciated this aspect of the film, was the designs, the various designs of the film. So Matt Reeves had a clear vision about the bat suit, the Batmobile, the Bat Cave, you know, like what it would all look like. And, you know, before the script was even finished. And he really wanted the three to kind of reflect each other. And I felt like it's pretty cool, because thinking back, when I watched the movie, I was like, yeah, I almost feel like it's kind of cohesive. Like it all kind of flows together. Granted, this Bat Cave you don't really see as much of it. It's almost like a mechanic garage.
It does, yeah. It does have that feel, but then again, that Batmobile does suit it then. It's like just like this kind of put together, kind of mashed.
Exactly, yeah. And that's exactly what Reeves wanted.
Frankenstein looking thing.
He wanted the bat suit to be practical and feel as if Batman almost used like spare parts to kind of piece it together. So that goes along with what you're saying, like Frankenstein together. So, you know, it wasn't like this sleek design necessarily, but it was functional. It got the job done. And I think more importantly, it allowed him to be mobile. Because, I mean, how often do you see like that stupid cowl where it's like you have to move your whole torso to look left and right?
Right, yeah. Exactly. No, I think that's cool too, because there were so many complaints from all the previous actors who had played Batman that had to wear the cowl, how it was hard to perform with that on. So to work that into the story to where it was more just like this Frankenstein kind of suit gave them leeway to be able to make that more flexible, so it's easier for the actor to do what he's got to do in costume.
So what did you think of the cast for this movie? Because obviously we've touched on Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne Batman, but what about the other people in the movie? What did you think of them?
I thought I really liked the cast. I liked everybody that they chose. I'm not sure they all performed well up to their capabilities. I'm not sure what kind of script they were handed either, and maybe what limitations. I'm not sure what got left on the editing floor, so to speak, as well, where maybe there were scenes that they could have shined in more.
Was there anyone specific, like any character that you thought was kind of weak?
Yeah. Gordon's character,
Ooh,
the
okay.
actor that played Gordon, he is phenomenal.
Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon.
Jeffrey Wright.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. I've seen him in a few things. The one for me that really sold me on his acting chops was Westworld. For me,
Oh,
his
okay.
performance in Westworld it's just been amazing. I say it's been. I never finished the series, but what I did see, I really liked from him. So I was expecting some dope performances from him.
Wasn't he
Unfortunately,
also in the Daniel Craig James Bond movies?
I think you might have mentioned that to me before outside of this podcast, and I that kind of.
Hmm.
I was like, whoa, wait, what? No, I have to go back and watch those then. Yeah, I always thought he was
I mean,
amazing.
Casino Royale, like that's just a classic. I never get tired of going back and watching that movie.
No,
So if nothing else, he was in that movie, so
talk to me,
you don't
Goose.
even necessarily have to check out the rest.
Dude, I just can't say enough about Mads Mikkelsen. That guy's
Hmm.
amazing. So yeah, I do need to go back and watch it. Definitely got to. And Jeffrey Wright, you said, has a good performance in there.
And then, well, I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler, a light spoiler, because that doesn't
Hmm.
really explain the plot, but it's just he's in there somewhere in some capacity.
Oh, okay.
But what'd you think of Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle slash Catwoman?
Oh man, I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she killed it for sure.
She was up there with Michelle Pfeiffer, in my opinion. I thought it
Yeah.
was pretty damn good. It was almost like a hybrid. It was like
Huh.
not quite Michelle Pfeiffer, but not quite Halle Berry. It was like right in the middle.
Yeah. It was her own. It was her own steez. It was her own stilo. She had it going pretty well. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was sold. I was like, yeah, she killed it. I was actually impressed with just her delivery and everything.
Well, for me, there was two standouts in this movie that I thought
Oh
great.
yeah,
So obviously, Paul Dano. Is it Dano or Dano? I think it's
Paul
Dano.
Dano.
Right? No, Dano. So
Yeah,
Paul Dano as Edward Nashton slash the
yeah.
Riddler. He did fucking great.
Oh, dude.
Obviously, I feel like it's a lot of fun when you kind of get to be unhinged and you can let loose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, he fucking goes out in this movie.
Oh, he
Does a
does.
great job.
Oh, Paul Dano is just great. He's just fucking great.
And he's so unassuming. I remember seeing the cast ahead of time before I went in the movie, and I was like, isn't that the dude from Girl Next Door? The heck? And he was like a super nerdy kid in that movie. I feel like he's typically typecast as just like this wimpy nerdy kid.
Oh
He kind of
well,
has that look, but in this one, he takes that to a different level.
he's got that. But have you seen There Will Be Blood?
Mm-mm.
Oh damn, that's the one for sure. You see him in that, you'll be a believer too. I mean,
Nice.
you already get it. He's one of his generation's best for sure. There's another performance that he did though in that movie with Hugh Jackman and I believe Jake Gyllenhaal. That movie will kind of destroy you. I remember I was watching it
Those
with
are
a
all the best movies.
right. I was watching it with a buddy, and when there came a point, somebody walked in. Our other roommate walked in, and it was like, oh, thank God. We were like, it was like halfway through the film, and they walked in, and so we had to pause it, and we were like, oh my God, he just took the tension. It was the tension was building and building and ratcheting up, and just your guts were just being rent from your body. The
So you almost
movie's
needed a break from the movie. It was so
we
intense.
I didn't even I was like, dude, I've never done that before, taking a break in the middle of a movie like that, unless it was an
In
intermission
the
like
middle
West
of a
Side Story
scene
or something,
too.
right in the middle of a scene. But it was
Yeah.
just like, oh gosh, okay, we brought some levity to the situation because our roommate was pretty funny, so we just started chopping it up with him for a couple minutes, grabbed some water. We're like, are you ready, dude? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, all right, here we go, dude.
Yeah,
Boosh.
hit the reset.
Gotta go in there with play, knowing okay, what just happened? Yeah, some pretty heavy shit just happened. This movie's called Prisoners.
Oh yeah. Prisoners. Yeah, I feel like we were just talking about that
Oh, dude.
not too long ago, right? In the
Yeah.
last recording.
Yeah. Oh, were we? Oh, okay. I remember talking about it. I thought it was at work. I remember talking to you
Oh
about it.
yeah, it might have been at work.
But yeah, that movie like gave me an entirely new respect for Paul Dano. I hadn't seen There Will Be
Man,
Blood.
I totally forgot he was in that movie. That's
Oh,
crazy.
dude,
Yeah,
he's the
I need to go
one,
back and
dude.
watch that movie.
Oh man, he kills it. He just yeah. Anyway, yeah,
He makes that movie.
he's been in some movies. So when I saw his name in the cast, and I don't know if I even knew he was actually cast as the Riddler. I just knew wow, he's gonna kill it. He's gonna be great in whatever he does.
My other standout was Colin Farrell, of course, but we'll get into that a little
Oh
later in the
yeah.
episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and what you're going back to the Riddler, it's interesting because we were already introduced to the character in a live action form with Jim Carrey, right? So I think a lot of people kind of thought that it was going to be, not too far from that, maybe less campy in some way, but still
Right.
kind of goofy.
Uh,
But this is entirely different from that.
mm. Yeah, I've never seen. There was a strangeness, a darkness in Carrie's performance for sure. I'll never forget the scene at the end when he's gone entirely crazy and he's in that padded cell, and
Oh, yeah.
they're like, well, tell us, you say, who's Batman, like the Riddler would be the one to figure it out, right? And then
Of
all of a
course,
sudden
yeah.
he says, I'll tell you who's Batman, and he looks in the window at them, and then he steps back and he's like, I'm Batman, and he starts
And doesn't he
flapping
start
his he
flapping?
starts
Yeah, with
flapping
his
his
arms.
arms. But there was like, it was like kind of funny when he said it, but it's just dark, and he's like laughing, but then it turns into kind of like a cry or a whimper, and it kind of cuts through it, like, ooh, it's unsettling for sure. So um I felt like before him, any the other performances, I guess would be just from the 60s Batman. um
Sure, yeah.
it was
Which was
it
also
was it was
campy.
so campy, right? So any performance up until Dano's, it seemed mostly campy and with a little
That's all.
weirdness
That's all
from
we've ever
Carrie.
seen. Yeah, of the Riddler. Going in, what were your initial thoughts when seeing the trailers for the film? Like even before you saw the movie, what'd you think of it?
Oh, I was stoked. I just saw, which it ended up being, I think, one of my favorite scenes, at least action wise, where he's fighting these dudes in the dark. Uh, Robert Pattinson is the Batman, and as he's fighting them, they're shooting him, and they're shooting at him, and it's in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
so
doing the
it's like
muzzle
pitch
flashes.
black. It's doing, all you're getting are muzzle flashes. So it's got this strobe
Hmm.
effect where in between those shots, there's this movement,
That's cool.
and so it's like just freeze frames, just boom, 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 almost like a moving picture within a moving picture, so to
And the
speak.
way that they edited it, it was almost kind of like to the rhythm of like a song, right? Like
Oh,
the whatever background music they had.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So it's cool. If you get the right person to edit a trailer for the
mm-hmm.
movie, man, you can make the movie seem way cooler than what it actually is. I've even seen it in reverse, where you have a cool movie, but you just had a really shitty movie trailer guy and or girl, and they almost butchered the excitement, for me. And then I finally, maybe once the movie's been released to video, I go back and watch it. I'm like, maybe I'll give it a shot, and then I'm surprised, But it's
Mm.
almost like the trailer makes it or breaks it for some people.
Right, right, yeah, and it's I've waffled at times, said, I won't watch the trailer. Oh, if I like the movie, I'm not going to watch the trailer. And then so up until more recently, I've kind of been adhering to that. But with that trailer, I was kind of curious, and I think actually you're the one who mentioned it to me that it was out, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a look. I want to check it out and see what they do. And I was not what is the word, not disappointed. I was going to say betrayed. I was not betrayed. No, it was good. It was good.
That's very poetic.
Right, I was not betrayed. But you, how about you? What were your thoughts when you saw the trailer?
I thought it was cool. I was definitely interested because I'm already in the camp of I'm pro Robert Pattinson. I think he's a very talented actor, and this is me seeing him back in Harry Potter. Even saw him first jump out of that tree, and he just leapt right into our hearts.
I just felt like that was gonna go there. Nice, nicely done. That's
But
funny.
I'm a Zoe Kravitz fan as well, so that wasn't gonna keep me from seeing the movie. But I was against Ben Affleck being Batman. So that was kind of interesting in and of itself, was the fact that Ben Affleck stepped out of the role. When he was initially going to play Batman and direct and write or whatever, I wasn't really all that interested in seeing the movie. I was probably going to skip it, honestly, without even checking it out, which
Same.
is, that's not really fair to him because it could have been an awesome movie, but that would have just been my bias against him, I guess. I like the fact that this was kind of a soft reboot, so it wasn't exactly like this origin story that you're used to seeing. It's just like, okay, we've seen that, we've been there, done that, so let's just start from a couple years in. At this point of the movie, yeah, he's only been in the cowl for what, like 2 years, and he's kind of building his relationship with the Gotham City Police Department and Officer James Gordon and all that. I think what really drew me in was that atmosphere, because I just really felt that they nailed that Gotham City atmosphere. I think more so than the rest of the movies that I've seen personally. I just feel like there was something in The Dark Knight Rises that I just hated. So they showed Gotham during the day, and it just looks like a regular city. It doesn't, to me, I was like, oh, he's in like Chicago or something, It didn't feel like Gotham City. But in this one, it very much felt like the Gotham City of the comics brought to life. I don't know how to
Mm.
describe it, but it was
Mm.
that atmosphere. They just nailed it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
They're able to portray the darker tones of a city. So it wasn't just, hey, let's just film this urban area at night. They really dressed it up. They had the graffiti. They had the creepiness about it. The uneasiness. Kind of how broke down Gotham kind of
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And you could really see the need for someone like a Batman
Yeah. Exactly.
to come in, clean things up, see how corrupt everything is. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
With like early on in the film, it was what I thought was a bit odd was the fact that the Riddler, this was after he already killed the commissioner. I believe it's the commissioner, right? In the movie?
Yeah, yeah, in the fancy house. I wasn't sure if that was him or if that was the mayor. Appoint
Yeah, yeah,
him, stuff
yeah.
like that.
So it's the mayor. And then he leaves, like, his calling card it's like quite literally almost like a get well card, but he writes like riddles inside of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's blank inside.
Of course, Batman's the only one that can decode this riddle
Mm-hmm.
because everyone in GCPD are incompetent idiots. They're
Right.
just like, oh, it's words on a page. I don't know what this means.
What do we do?
Yeah, do you feel like it was weird kind of seeing everyone, the police department, so against Batman early on, because we're so used to seeing them working closely with him, right?
Right, right. No, that's a good point. And actually, that's interesting that you brought that up because that was what was running through my mind just now. Was this was the first time watching any Batman movie that I really started to think when they said he's a freak. It was like, you don't let him in here. He's a freak. I was like, wow, let me see it from their perspective for a second. They're looking at just another guy, another
Hmm.
person just like them who decides to dress himself this way and
Hmm.
decides to try to solve crimes. He's an amateur, technically speaking. He's an amateur. He has no other.
He hasn't even proved himself
Right.
yet, really.
There's no certifications. He certainly didn't get trained in a police department like all these other guys did. He's just a dude, just filled with anger and just wants to inflict I'm trying to see from their perspective, right? So it's like
Hmm.
he's going to come in and this guy who dresses this way, who chooses to dress himself this way, hide his identity, all that. Who the fuck does he
Purposely
think
stand out and strike fear in his
Right. Who
enemies.
the fuck does he think he is to come in here and then tell us how to do our job? We have to
Yeah.
answer to the commissioner ultimately, but we have the chain of command. And this guy is above the law somehow. This guy doesn't have to answer to anybody else. And we're using his help. Like, I began to see it differently. I began to see it like, whoa, this guy really, you've heard him talked about as a vigilante, but he's always just hailed as like a hero. But this was the first time again where it was like people didn't, there's only one person who was in his corner, and that was Gordon. Everybody else was just
Mm.
like, this guy's a freaking weirdo.
And even Gordon at this point, I think, was still kind of hesitant, but he was starting to warm up to Batman already, and so he's bringing him along on these cases and kind of getting his perspective on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it was interesting because, yeah, I was also thinking it from their perspective, and they look at him and just see this goth guy in leather pretending to be this man bat, and we're supposed to trust this guy and take him seriously.
Right, this
Like, what the
man
fuck?
bat. And we're gonna put out this big spotlight in the sky with a shape that looks like a Batman or bat to call
Vaguely.
him. Like this is all what the heck? This is weird. Why he's gonna tell us how to again, he's gonna tell us how to do our jobs, but they it goes to show in this that because he's not tied down to any one particular one person. He's only after his own interests, really, which are, of course, what he
Mm.
perceives as the better interests of Gotham. He's not bribable, if that isn't even a word. So he can be objective, whereas some of those police officers were corrupt. Yeah, they do need him.
Yeah, initially at the beginning of the movie, he kills the mayor, and then his second victim is the commissioner. So after the commissioner kind of chews out Gordon and Batman and is like, "Get the hell out of here! You don't belong here."
Mm-hmm.
Then the Riddler comes after the commissioner,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when he leaves another card. But this time, he leaves it specifically for Batman because he knows that Batman's on the case, and I think he kind of it's almost like a cat and mouse game. Like he sees that, oh, there's a little bit extra challenge here, and I think that's exciting to the Riddler.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how far this goes back, but in the end of the movie, he talks about how basically he planned this all out. So it's possible that he actually, from the very beginning, was expecting Batman to get involved,
Hmm.
and he already knew who Batman was. Remember,
He's trying to goad him in.
he's goading
Okay.
him. Yeah, exactly. I think he's known since the very beginning of starting this whole thing that he's Bruce Wayne. I think he does, and he's just
Hmm.
because he's trying to get vengeance on him, so he's luring him in. But then he wants him to help the whole, everything at the very end that comes out was he wanted him in on this plan to take part in it. Together, they were gonna.
True. Yeah, and it's almost like if had Batman never gotten involved, I wonder if anything else would have escalated because he kind of needed his help.
Right, exactly. He did need his help very much so.
If people didn't play his game, I wonder if he would have just given up on it and started over or something like, or thought of a different game to play to try to get the Batman involved.
Right, but he knew just how to play him. He knew just how to play him. So, because he knows him so
He almost
well.
thought of him as an equal. Like he was trying to recruit him by having him go along with these riddles and try to piece the puzzle together. See if he can match up to me.
Right. To his intelligence. It's just there's something I don't know. There's something that's so rare to be understood. Right. There's
Hmm.
something so appealing, especially when it's somebody who's as intellectual as the Riddler is. To then find somebody who, again, in this sea of other people, no one else was able to solve these riddles except for Batman. So to be
And it seemed like
understood
he
by
was doing it
somebody.
relatively easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
like he thought about for like 2 seconds. Was like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Exactly. And it's like what's funny about that too in a twisted way is that Batman himself is tickled by the riddles. He likes the puzzles. What does that say about him? I don't know. It's just kind of tricky.
Yeah,
Like he's trying to solve this, but it's definitely
and this in and of itself is a different take on Batman because you see early on that they're focusing more on the murder mystery, the detective work. It's like you actually get to see him work with the police and scope out these scenes and try to piece it all together and actually get frustrated. Like he was getting frustrated by some of these riddles because he's like, man, like I can't figure this out.
mm-hmm.
And he even has Alfred help him early on. Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth.
Right.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it shows that Alfred's also quite intelligent himself.
And raised Bruce through his adolescence and into the man who he is at that.
Maybe in a lot of ways, he was the one that taught Batman everything he knows.
Yeah. I mean, it seems that some of that self-defense training came from him.
Did you think that it was a little convenient how they figured all that out though? Because they're like, well, let's take a picture of this because it was almost like a crossword type of thing, and then they're like, let's just look at the negatives, and then it spells drive, and so that immediately leads them to the garage where they find the car, and there's like a knife in the tire, and then Batman is like, kind of looking through the car, and Gordon's like, what are we supposed to be looking for? And he said, like a USB port, because he believed that there was going to be a thumb drive. And sure enough, there was a thumb drive. Quite literally, it was
Oh
like
my
a
god!
thumb
Yeah,
attached
yeah,
to the drive. And
yeah,
so that was kind of a nice pun. I did appreciate that.
yeah. I got a chuckle out of me. I was like, oh, that's that's a little campy, a little cheesy. But I thought, okay, well, not too campy. More than it just, I was just like, okay, all right.
It almost shows the humor and the sick humor that the Riddler has.
Yeah.
He thought it would have been like a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I did think that just the drive leading them to the car was a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, drive the exactly. Yeah, I thought that there were that was my gripe with all of these riddles, was just kind of how they were solved. Some of them, like with Gordon, it just felt like he was just parroting back everything Batman would say. After he'd say something, he'd be like, "You mean so? It's so and so said this? What? What did he say? Had to do with the a bird? Or no, what was it? The pigeon." And somehow they got to,
Oh, like a rat with wings.
yeah, like a rat with wings. Like, I don't know, it was just the repetition. I was like, he's just repeating everything Batman says. What about this? You mean that? That's that kind of got
Just reiterating.
Yeah, they just kept happening. I was like, it's like when somebody says, if somebody repeats a word when they're talking, and it suddenly becomes distracting. So when I noticed that he was asking those questions, it drew me out of the narrative. It kind of like made me go, oh, wait a second, that's happened already. And then I was like, will it happen again? Is this a pattern? And sure enough, it was a pattern. It was like he would just keep doing it. Yeah. And that's why I was like, no, Jeffrey Wright, this is not you.
You're better than this.
You're better than this, bro. I know, please.
Oh, this brings me to the second standout role.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Farrell as Oswald Oz Cobblepot, also known as the Penguin.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. That was truly the breakout role for me, and total shocker for me. It was. I was texting Mena actually afterwards, and no, was it you? I mean, it might have been you. I don't know. You were just like, yeah. Somebody said Colin Farrell, and I was like, what? And I immediately looked it up. That's who that was. And sure enough, it was. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was just like, dude, the Penguin, whoever played the Penguin, I've never seen that actor before. He killed it. It was just, he had such charisma on screen. It was like that whole scene when he's in his own little room in his club, and Batman's like trying to like intimidate him, and he is completely unintimidated. He's just like,
oh, yeah. He totally just turns it around on him.
Yeah. He's just laughing it off almost.
I went into the movie knowing that was Colin Farrell.
Oh.
The whole movie, I could not tell that was him. I'm like, someone could have said like, "Hey, we played a joke on you. It's actually someone else entirely," and I would have believed it because I don't see Colin Farrell at all when I watch this movie. That's how good of a role he did.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
with all the prosthetics, I feel like he was really feeling it.
Oh, dude, it was kind of like you mentioned all the prosthetics. It kind of reminds me of Tom Cruise's Tropic Thunder performance. Did you ever see it, right? Where you're just
again,
like, you have no idea it's him.
He was the best part of that movie.
Just like, that whole is good. I don't know.
Yeah, in that fat suit.
Yeah, exactly.
He would only pop up like every now and then in Tropic Thunder, but he was always, in my opinion, I felt like he was the best part of the movie.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, I thought so too.
But yeah, a lot of ways, I would say it was pretty similar to that.
Yeah, but just Colin Farrell has this swagger. He's just in every role he's ever had, it always feels like he's got this swagger. The Recruit, I remember watching that, him and Al Pacino, and I thought that was badass. He just was so cool. I mean, hell, the first thing I ever saw him in was actually with Tom Cruise in Minority Report.
Oh, okay.
So I remember watching that, and he didn't even have a British accent in that one, which is interesting. Again, he's playing like this Chicagoan, Italian kind of mafioso type dude.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely felt like a mobster.
Yeah, and he's just got, again, that's why it blew me away. I was not at all. I was like, dang, with his eyebrows and everything, like he just had this way about him. And
he had like his rings on his like fat fingers and everything.
Fat fingers, yeah. And just
it's almost to the point where those rings ain't coming off. Like those are permanent.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have to cut those off.
Yeah, he was. But seriously, his performance was hilarious at times, and yeah, he definitely brought some levity to it. But so cool.
What I thought was kind of strange was not long after the whole Penguin introduction at the Iceberg Lounge, his nightclub, was that we find out that Selena Kyle works there. She's a waitress, and Batman, he notices that she reacts when she sees the photo because Batman's interrogating Penguin about what's her name, Annika,
right?
And so Selena, when she sees the photo, she kind of has like a slight reaction, and Batman noticed it. So he was like, I wonder if she knows something. I felt like it was kind of strange how easily he followed her home, and then he was able to like spy on the the whole entire apartment from like the very front door to like the bedroom is like nothing but windows apparently, and you can see every single thing going on. And I actually thought that was the Riddler at first because he's spying on them as the Riddler was spying on the mayor at the very beginning, like the opening moments of the movie. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that, they kind of have some similarities in that respect. They like spying on people.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was funny though that she was able to be so easily tracked, like you were saying before.
She didn't have like any sense of like awareness around her, especially because she seems so skillful and I don't know, I almost feel like street smart in a way, but she didn't think that working around such high profile people and such dangerous people that she needs to watch her back at all.
Yeah, exactly. She's never gonna get got somehow. Gotta
By the
get
way,
yourself.
I did not like Catwoman's modified ski mask. To me,
That's
that
what I
just
was
looks
gonna say.
stupid.
That bothered me so much because I was like, so she's gonna have this whole outfit that's like skin tight.
The
It's like
rest of it is
suited
fine.
for
From the
her.
neck down, it's
So
fine.
it's good. It's like, yeah, it seems like it's highly detailed and all this other stuff. But then she's gonna go and throw like what looks to be like a cotton like ski mask that just covers only a little bit of her face. I was like, you don't think they're gonna figure out who you are? Are you serious? Especially because the
It's
people she
almost
was
like
fighting
she couldn't
knew.
figure out how to put a ski mask on, so she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave it like this. I can see this way. It's fine." It's like she cut the face out of the ski mask, and then just like she got the youth version, so like it couldn't fit over her head. So she's
Uh
like, "Well,
huh.
I'm just gonna wear it like this." So it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
goes like under her nose, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Just under. Like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I thought that was
They could have done something better. I almost felt like it would have been better if she just went like full ski mask.
right. Seriously, seriously.
It bugged me every time I saw it. I just couldn't take her serious because I'm like, man, that mask looks stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. Yeah, I did not approve of that at all. Oh, side note though, one thing that I learned later, sorry, going back actually to what you were saying before about how Batman and Riddler watched people,
Mhm.
what one of our coworkers said, Steven, what he said was, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go back and watch it again because evidently, one of the Easter eggs is that in every scene that Batman's in, the Riddler is somewhere in the scene watching him.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Now
Huh.
I don't know if that's every single scene or if that's on in scenes where he's going to a crime scene. That might be more specifically. Yeah, that I think that's more like what it is. Every crime scene that Batman goes to, the Riddler is watching him and is visible somewhere in the shot, like a
So
Where's
he's
Waldo.
he's in the room with Batman in some
Yeah,
capacity.
that is at least what the rumor was. That was what he was wanting to go watch the movie for. Again, he's like, oh, there's a whole sorts of Easter eggs, and that's one of them. I thought, oh, that's
How
pretty
funny would
cool.
it be if like so you're like you go back to that initial crime scene, the one with the mayor, and then it's like panning around the room and he sees the that little like floor tool with the blood and he's looking around like and then just if you freeze frame it in the back there's like the curtain and you just see like his feet sticking out the bottom and like no one knew he was there.
For all their like great detective work and there's flashlights going across the room, and they never once like glanced across and saw those shoes there and wondered like, is someone standing in those or are they just?
His breath is pushing the curtain away.
But he's still looking at them with those wide eyes and those glasses, like. But his feet are there, and pans down to his feet, and he like moves them. He like shifts his feet uncomfortably.
Oh man, that'd be terrible. But also, I feel like that would be awesome at the
I,
same
I
time.
agree. I agree. If it was cheesy like that.
What did you think of Batman's voice? Like, this was such a big deal with the Christopher Nolan Batmans. Was like Christian Bale's guttural voice that he used. A lot of people were just shitting on that, and I felt like Robert Pattinson kind of has something similar to that in this film.
Yeah, I thought it was something similar.
Maybe less screamy.
Yeah, where is he? But putting yourself in the position of, okay, here you're dealing with a Batman now, right? You don't want to just sound like every other dude. I'm not gonna come to him and be like, hey dude, stop. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna wanna. It's like, oh, it's
Dress
another
it up a
dude,
bit, huh?
right? You want to dress it up a bit because I mean, like it's just another dude if you just hear his voice sounding like our voices sound right now. But if it's like a little more gruff, it's a little bit more aggressive. It's a little goes back to that whole limbic. It evokes a sort of limbic response. It goes back to the ancient part of the brain where you've experienced that
It's
raw,
intimidating.
right? That growl, that caveman type of thing, where you're just like, oh
That's
shit, I
his
don't know
alpha
why I'm
male
freaked out,
voice.
but I'm freaked the fuck out right now. This guy is
Dude, I'm freaked out with you just doing that voice.
right. Sorry you had to see me that way.
You know, I as much as I hate to admit it, I do think because I'm not the Ben Affleck Batman fan, I still think Affleck's Batman voice was probably the one that made the most sense to me. And the reason for that is because it involves some sort of like distortion from the suit's technology. So Ben Affleck is talking normally.
Oh,
He doesn't have to physically change the tone of his voice or anything. It's the suit that's like distorting it.
interesting.
And to me, that just seems the most logical and the most likely, especially coming from Batman, who's so tech heavy and tech reliant. It just seems like something Bruce Wayne would have been into, something that's more down his alley.
Right, right. I mean, I guess at that point, though, yeah, I think that would have been wise to come up with. Then again, this being a sort of origin story, he's figuring that shit out too. Whereas that Batman who's
Sure.
facing Superman is already pretty like experienced. Therefore, maybe has already thought about, okay, well, I've been doing this for a while with my regular voice. I should probably actually disguise it with some sort of technology. But be that as it may, I 100% agree. Why the fuck are you going to be using your regular voice in an age when we have these like soundboards and shit where like people back in the day would actually use a soundboard to call somebody, or not even a soundboard. It was like a microphone you could speak through and be like, what's your
Yeah,
favorite scary movie? You know what I mean? Like actually use the
exactly.
voice of the
Yeah,
dude from
exactly.
Scream. So I'm like, come on. Yeah, come on. When is this taking place?
Get with the times, man.
Get with
You have all this other cool technology, but you can't come up with that.
yeah.
Now that we're on the topic of technology, I do want to mention that probably some of the coolest tech that I've seen out of all the Batmans was that little contact lens recorder, like camera that he had. I thought it was pretty cool. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too, actually.
Because he ends up giving that to Selena, right? So that way, she can use her status as an employee to infiltrate the deeper depths of the Iceberg Lounge, like the very secluded areas where all the powerful people hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so he can see everything she sees, and he can even record it with that contact lens that she's wearing.
Right. I thought that. Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really cool, and wasn't a really big stretch because there's been technology, like something akin to that where I don't know about recording, but I know that for a while there in the Major League Baseball there was a period of time, maybe 15 years ago or so, maybe longer, maybe 20 years ago, where they
Mhm.
were this thing hadn't been banned yet. It was brand new, but these contact lenses that players could wear would allow them to. It would basically cut down the lights of the stadium, so
Oh,
they
no
could
way.
see a little bit more.
Okay.
Wouldn't look quite as harsh in the lights, so you could see the ball better. But that was to be able to enable them to see the ball in the air a little better, without the lights bothering them as much. And then the other thing was there was color in it. It kind of looked intimidating too. If you ever get a chance to check it out, what it looked like, it was cool. But
Okay.
it was also had some red in it to help them pick up the seams of the baseball, so they could see
Oh,
when it
baseball.
was
I was
released.
thinking football.
Oh yeah, no, when it was released from the pitcher's hand, they could see exactly what they could basically get a better grasp of what kind of pitch was coming their way by looking at the seams of the
Oh, okay.
baseball to see, is it a curveball, is it a fastball, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
The way technology is these days, it's not so it's not unbelievable that that kind of thing could happen. So I
Sure.
thought that
Yeah.
that was really really cool.
I wonder how it charges, because I feel like you just take it off and you just put it in the little contact case, and that's pretty much it. Like, you don't ever have to like hook anything up to it.
Right, right. No, that's a good point. Like, yeah,
I wonder
what
if
do you
it
charge it?
draws energy from like body heat or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, that
I
could be. I
wouldn't be
could see that.
surprised.
And what is it? How does it transport what's being recorded?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to talk about that collar explosive, the scene at the funeral. So this was for the mayor. his funeral, right? So after the DA flirts with Selena, he goes out and gets abducted by the Riddler in his car. So the DA shows back up by storming through this building in a car, almost runs some people over. I don't know if he actually did run anyone over, but I think he's trying to kind of avoid people as much as possible. He just like crashes the car inside of this church, and I think Bruce Wayne's already attending. He's attending as just his regular self, Bruce Wayne, not as Batman. And so he goes down there because everyone else is kind of scared. They're like, "What the hell's going on?" You got this kamikaze guy that's just like driving through the building, trying to commit suicide. And then it turns out that it's DA Coulson that comes out, and he has this collar that's also an explosive around his neck.
Right.
This is where the Riddler wants Batman to help Coulson solve 3 riddles to unlock the device. And Coulson is too scared to solve the final riddle himself. And time runs out. Doesn't he come back as Batman? Because he's in his suit, I think, when he's talking to the DA, right?
He's he comes back. That's when he starts talking to the DA, because until then, when the whole crash happens, he was still Bruce Wayne, and he pushed that child out of the way, saved that boy from getting hit.
Oh, I thought he just pushed him to be a jerk.
He's all, oh shoot, people are looking.
He then picks him up and dusts him off. He's like, "Oh, get up, little boy."
He's like, "Hey, you're a tough little dude. Look at you. Yeah, go on. Fuck out of my face."
I do want to say that Batman here, when Coulson fails to solve the final riddle, time runs out, it blows up. Batman straight up takes a point blank explosion to the face,
right to the
and
dome.
It knocks his ass out. I'm like, dude, his face would have been blown off.
Yeah.
But all it does is apparently it just knocks him out.
That's exactly what I said. I leaned over to my girlfriend and I was just like, "Are you serious?" I was like, I
would have believed it if he attempted to like run away and maybe like hit him in the back or something. But facing the bomb, he was basically like face to face with this collar when it blows up.
Yeah. I was like, what? I mean, did I ask you this already? Have you seen the movie Hurt Locker?
I haven't.
Okay. Mm-hmm. First scene.
But that is about someone that diffuses bombs, right?
Precisely. And so as you can imagine, there are instances where, or there is at least one instance where a bomb goes off and it's just over. It's just the explosion, the concussive explosion just ends you. It just, your organs, all of it just boosh, obliterated inside your body. So him just taking that one on the chin like that, wearing that suit, I was like, what in his face?
Yeah, no burn marks or anything. He's completely intact. He just got knocked unconscious.
Right, but the other dude gone. His head's who knows where.
Yeah, exactly.
Pieces. But the Riddler did that intending not to kill him, though, either. Remember, it's all to get him to this point. We're going to be in here. You're going to figure it out. We're going to be in this insane asylum. And together we'll watch these explosions go off. The town's going to get flooded. Fuck them.
Maybe the Riddler expected Batman to run away before it blew up, but he was like, oh, damn. I didn't kill him.
Oh, damn. He took that one. Because he was standing. Wasn't he like standing? No. Never mind. That was different. That was when he was still Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
The thing, though, I guess maybe this could also be a stretch, but maybe it's some sort of like directional bomb. So maybe it's kind of like a claymore where it like blows up instead of forward. I could see that. I don't know.
I could see that, and that
maybe.
I could imagine that being the case too. It was just focused like almost like an implosion.
The cops take him back to the precinct, right, or like the police department. And they're just deciding what to do with him. They're just kind of surrounding him in this interrogation or this like holding cell. And they're just like, what should we do? Should we take off the mask? And Gordon's really defending him here. Mm-hmm. He's like defending him against all of the other officers in this police department.
Right.
And then what does Gordon get for that? He gets a punch to the face.
That's right. In the next room.
It was kind of weird because they're trying to figure out, like, how can we get you out of here? And so Batman's like, I know. And just, like, drops him and takes off.
Exactly.
And so he actually has to escape by a pretty unconventional method where he gets all the way to the roof and then he busts out this, like, inflatable, like, wingsuit that comes out of his bat suit. And he just dives, he like cliff dives off of the roof, but I don't even think that building's tall enough. So that's why he was kind of like struggling. He was already descending like really quickly.
Right. Oh, it was a squirrel suit, like those, like,
Oh, squirrel,
yeah.
yeah.
You see them when they're flying along the mountain sides and shit. Yeah.
I do think this was pretty cool because usually in the Christian Bale movies, it's like he can lock his cape and that almost becomes like a hang glider.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a built-in like hang glider.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I don't think he had anything like that yet. So his method was like, I'm just gonna have the squirrel suit, and it kind of shows that he doesn't quite know how to operate it. He's just like, well, I mean, theoretically,
Yeah, exactly.
all I need to do is just like dive
Open
off,
this
and then the
shit
wind
up.
will carry me.
Yeah.
But he didn't really figure out that landing part, and so he has like a parachute that comes out, right? But it catches on the bridge, and it like knocks him into the top of the bridge and like drops him on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
He eats
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he eats shit.
He
So right
eats
after taking a
shit.
bomb, he eats shit.
Right. After falling pretty fast from this building. Yeah. He eats shit. I remember watching that happen. I was like, oh, damn. Yeah. Some broken
He was
ribs.
good though. Brush it off.
Brush it. Just a flesh wound. Only a flesh wound. Oh my gosh.
So after that, is Batman and Gordon, are they thinking that Penguin's the guy now? They're looking for an informant because when Selena Kyle was collecting intel, they were talking about there was an informant,
Hmm.
Annika, who's Selena Kyle's friend, and she was holding up in Selena's apartment. She gets kidnapped. She knows too much. She knows some information. So someone comes and kidnaps her. Selena Kyle's pissed. That's her buddy. That's her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's time to go track down the Penguin. And I think this was probably one of the coolest scenes of the entire movie. So this is where he already found out that Penguin has some sort of like illegal drug deal or something happening at the docks. And then he's about to search the car and he sees that Selena Kyle's there already doing the same thing. And she wants to steal the money from Penguin because she felt like this is just something she deserved. But also, she was still trying to look for her friend. And they end up finding the friend. So Annika, is it her head or is it just like her whole entire body is found in the trunk? I forget.
I don't remember.
Well, they see her face.
Yeah.
That tells the audience that, yeah, she didn't make it. She's dead.
Yeah.
They took her out. Once they figure that out, Penguin spots them and all of his goons start attacking. I don't know. Batman gets shot in the head and he almost gets knocked out from that. So that's like, man, this guy's already like concussion after concussion at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But somehow he sneaks his way, he ninjas his way into the dark alley next to this dock. The scene, this entire car chase scene is fucking badass. But the beginning of it was kind of awkward because Batman is just in his car. This car takes 5 minutes to boot up. So it's like everything's like powering up. It's fucking loud.
Mm-hmm.
The little jet engine starts in the back. And the first thing that Penguin decides to do is like, oh, he's in a car? Let me get in a car and drive away. I'm like, if he just stood there, Batman would have just hung out in his car until it was time to come out. But what I thought was interesting was it wasn't Penguin that flees first. It's Batman that flees to his car and then just hopes that they're going to drive away so that way he can chase them because he's in no condition to chase them on foot.
Right.
And if he gets out of the car, they're just going to outnumber him, you know? So he's just going to hold up in his vehicle hoping that he's like, okay, I bet Penguin's going to drive away now.
Yeah.
And so my logic was just like, if Penguin just stayed put, nothing would have happened. They would have just still been there. Selena Kyle already took off. Like she took the money and fled on her motorcycle. So they could just surround the car and just like gun him down in the car, I'm assuming, or maybe like throw some bombs at it or something, or call for backup,
Yeah, exactly.
But so Penguin, he decides, he's like, oh, you're in a car? Let me get in my car and then we'll drive away. Maybe I'll be able to outrun you. So this is where the cool car chase scene begins. What did you think of the new Batmobile?
I don't know. It was kind of.
Did you think it was kind of underwhelming compared to the other Batmobiles that you've seen?
I have a soft spot in my heart for the Tim Burton Batmobile to this day.
Oh, with the big fins.
Yeah, the big fins, the long front end. My dad had this Camaro, like 80 82 or whatever, 82, 83 Camaro. It was felt like we used to call it the Batmobile because it had such a long front end. It looked like one of those like T-top, what do you call it? Thunderbirds or
Thunderbirds,
Trans
yeah.
Am.
They all kind of looked similar around that time.
Yeah.
That was like the popular body style to go with.
Right. So that having been said, I did like this car though more than this big ass tank that was the Christopher Nolan Batmobile. Yeah, I just preferred this one to look more like a car. I thought it was to your point earlier, kind of this Frankenstein deal. So that car being the way it was, I don't know. It just looked it kind of seemed like a nod to that car from the 80s in some sense.
You know what it reminded me of was, have you ever seen the Thomas Jane Punisher movie with John Travolta?
No.
So he kind of does like a similar thing. He grabs a muscle car. He just outfits it with these like all these gadgets, and he has almost like this steel curtain that he can like draw down just in case he's being ambushed or whatever. So it kind of reminded me of that. And I actually really dug the look of this Batmobile. Much like how you had a soft spot for Tim Burton's Batmobile design, I really love the Tumbler from the Christopher Nolan movies.
You did? Okay.
I liked it. I mean, the only drawback I thought was it was kind of strange that they just have a bunch of these tumblers around, like already made, you know, which they showed in The Dark Knight Rises, where they have several of them, you know, just kind of roaming the city.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of the cars, I felt like that one kind of made the most sense to me because you just this huge monster truck wheels in the back almost, and it didn't have like the extra flair of like the fins and whatnot. Like everything seemed functional, it had the fins to kind of make it more aerodynamic, and it only really had these main guns which were in the front. It would like transform into the cockpit mode or whatever, you know, when he was like shooting the gun. So I felt like that one probably made the most sense. It had the most utility in my opinion, but this one was cool because it seemed more grounded, like the most plausible out of all of them. You know, this is something that you could probably achieve yourself if you had, you know, even just a quarter of the resources.
Right.
How'd you like this car chase scene though? Like, did you also think this was a badass scene?
I thought it was up until the jump, but I knew it was coming. I knew the jump was coming from the trailer, but
exactly. See, that's a pet peeve of mine, is when you spoil the best parts of a movie in the trailer. So you already know that they're coming from a mile away.
Yeah. And so that one had definitely been telegraphed, but I thought it was cool. And I really liked how, I just like a Maserati, you know, and that's what Penguin was driving. It was just like sleek, that's what Penguin sexy, fucking, like of all the sports cars that are out there, it's like it's like a luxury car with like 12 cylinders. That thing is fucking fast.
And if anything was going to outrun the Batmobile, it was going to be that, because that thing has way better handling. Muscle cars are fast in like a drag race, like going straight. But when it comes to weaving in and out of traffic, dude, that Maserati would have been gone.
Oh, exactly. So I was like, this is appropriate. This is a sick ass car. I really liked that. I thought even just the how he pinned him in and thought that he'd lost him. Penguin. I was like, yeah, I got him.
I thought he was done. I was like, oh wait, how the hell are they gonna make him get out of this situation? You know, I was kind of curious about that.
And then the trailer replayed in our heads and was like, oh, that's right. This is and there it is. There it is, rearing its ugly little head.
Oh, so it was one of those car transports, right? Yeah. The ones that can carry like 8 cars. So he rode up that, used his boost. And that's something that, I mean, we've all thought about at one point, is like, if we went fast enough, could we use this as a ramp?
Could it happen?
And he does. Penguin causes this major freeway accident. These big rigs just collide with each other. There's this huge explosion. And Batman uses the back of that little car carrier, dive over the explosion, dive over all the harm. And I felt like the imagery was cool, though. The way that the style of the scene that Matt Reeves carries out was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like how you have like the giant explosion. He's kind of like checking his rearview mirror and his side mirrors like, oh, yeah, I got you.
I like that,
I got you.
Yeah. He definitely sold that.
You see the Batmobile just emerge from the pits of hell.
The pits of hell, as it were.
And so he actually lands and hits like a quick pit maneuver on the Maserati, right, and flips it. Which I think that's also very difficult to do. Those things don't flip, those exotic cars.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess they found a way. So we're just supposed to suspend disbelief there too. He can take an explosion to the face. He can take a bullet to the head, and
I
an
think he would have
exotic
spun
sports
out
car.
maybe, but
Yeah,
I don't know if he would have flipped. Yeah, needless to say, the car flips. Penguin gets fucked up, and that's where Batman has like that slow like walk up to the car, or whatever, with the explosion and the fire behind him.
yeah.
The cool imagery. This was probably the most climactic scene in the whole movie because the rest of the movie is really subdued, but this was like the most. I'm using like car puns here. The most high octane part of the
Oh
movie.
yeah, oh yeah. Stephen King would be proud. High octane.
And so they end up interrogating the penguin, and I don't know if you caught this, but Penguin does a little penguin walk here because
Oh right,
he's
right.
like
He's
bound by his
cuffed.
ankles
Yeah.
and he's cuffed. So he's like, "Wait, guys!" As he's like chasing after him, and he actually walks like a penguin,
Uh
which
huh.
I thought was pretty funny. I
Yeah.
like how they added that in there.
I got an eye roll out of that. I was like, okay, because he's the penguin. Got it.
This is where the movie was kind of starting to lose me a bit. It was this whole El Rata Alada storyline.
Yeah, that was too much. I was like, okay, this
Because
is
I'm just
grasping.
like, wait, so I'm already struggling to remember what this phrase is. It's like Latin or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
This is like the basis of what they're going off of, and they keep. I guess that translates to like rat with wings or whatever. And so, tell me why when they're talking about like rat with wings, why is it that the first thing they think of is a penguin?
A
The first
rat.
thing anyone is going to think of is a bat.
Right. Rat with
Rat
wings,
with
dude.
wings. Like when
Or
they
a
were like,
pigeon.
yeah, exactly. I would feel like I would say bat 100% even before pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like talking over. Batman's talking over with Gordon, and he's like, "Huh, rat with wings. I think that's penguin." I was like, "Is it though?" So that kind of like already led me to believe that it wasn't gonna be penguin because I'm like that. There's no freaking way that they thought that was gonna out the penguin, as the informant. None of this makes any sense so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I felt like I was the only one. Everyone else seemed fine with this plot, but I was just like I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to keep up with this part.
Yeah, that was not easy to follow, at least for me too. I was just like, I guess.
I think that's when he kind of says what we've all been, well, at least what I was thinking was that he was like, "Have you not really thought about the El Rata Alada, like the rat with wings?" Like he's like, that kind of sounds like a bat to me, and then so I think that was almost like a oh shit, moment for
Right.
Batman. Like he was probably like, "Oh shit, oh you're kind of right. I didn't even think of it that way." That's the first
Right.
thought I thought of. I was like, "Really, penguin? No." I would think bat before penguin, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
after that, I think that's when Alfred gets blown up. Yeah, he's just cutting through the mail, checking the mail, and then there's this strange looking one, and it seems to have a little countdown on it, and ends up blowing him up. He's able to at least toss it away, so he doesn't get the full brunt of it.
No, I know. No, kind of like the way Batman just took the full brunt of it to the face, as we were saying last time. Just
Batman's like, I ain't no bitch. Like I would have just put it in my mouth.
yeah, it don't hurt me none.
Yeah, some of the things are kind of. I don't think they're quite consistent in the movie. So there's a part where Batman's just walking through gunshots, no problem. But then there's like moments where he gets shot from like yards away, probably like 30 yards away. He gets shot by one bullet and it like knocks him out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then
he's in the dirt for a little bit.
And then he gets blown up face first by that neck bomb.
Just shrugs that one off.
But then he'll take like shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah, like he'll take like straight up like shotgun blows to the stomach, and then it just kind of knocks the wind out of him, but he's fine.
He's like, oof, indigestion. Got to get some. Got to stop by Walgreens and get some Imodium.
Imodium. Some Alka-Seltzer.
Plop plop fizz fizz. That
Actually, I don't know why, but I actually thought Alfred died right here. I thought they were gonna take it in a different direction where Alfred isn't there for Batman all the time, isn't at his beck and call. I thought they're just going to kill him off early and have him just really be alone. But no, I mean, he was able to survive that explosion.
Oh, right. I
mean, would you have been kind of opposed to the idea of getting rid of Alfred just to kind of like throw a little swerve in the storyline?
I felt like to be honest, I felt like keeping him alive did throw a swerve, because I was mentally prepared. I was like, that was a point blank explosion. He's not wearing a bat suit. Uh, yeah, this
The
isn't
invincible
looking
batsuit.
good. Right, exactly. I'm like, this isn't looking good.
Mm-hmm.
This is not looking good. Yeah. So it threw me when he was still alive. I was like, what? Oh man, an explosion went off in his face. Really are we really supposed to believe he survived that?
Yeah, I guess it's the whole like, well, you know, it was a small enough bomb that it could fit in like a little envelope, and then he was able to also throw it away.
You saying those words right now reminds me of, that's exactly what I was thinking when that happened. I was like, I remember like going, no, but then all of a sudden I remember like kind of thinking, like looking up even and just going like, well, I guess it was a small envelope, so maybe maybe it was just meant to be like a scare tactic, like a threat. Because I mean, the Riddler sent it, so he was, when it was, for Batman, but he knew all along Bruce Wayne was Batman. So, or sorry, it was meant for Bruce Wayne, and he
Yeah, it
knows
was
who
meant for
he
Bruce
is.
Wayne.
So.
That's right, and he didn't know that someone else opens his mail. But I guess that's not too far off because he's a rich kid, so he's like,
Right,
of course he would
right,
have someone else open his mail.
sure. Maybe he anticipated that, but I think his end game was always to have Batman there. It was always to have Bruce Wayne in the same room with him, and they were going to watch the world burn together.
Around this time too, it started to kind of slow down the action a bit because we're like fresh off the car chase scene, and then there's the explosion after that. So it gets into more of like the detective work, which I actually quite enjoyed. I like the fact that this was more of like a subdued Batman, and he's just kind of like trying to solve puzzles and piece things together, piece clues together. I kind of liked it. That's where
Mm-hmm.
he finds out that the letter leads him to the old orphanage that was once funded by the Wayne family.
Mm-hmm.
I get the sense that Bruce didn't know anything about this orphanage, so he kind of goes in. He's with Gordon, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of scoping it out,
He's like, what?
thinking maybe they might run into the Riddler there. But obviously it was all part of the plan because Riddler was basically just running his entire scheme out of his little apartment, so which was like in the heart of the city. Let the rats run through the maze for him.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
what he finds out at the orphanage, they found out that his dad, Thomas Wayne, hired a mobster, Carmine Falcone, to hush a journalist who was going to reveal that Martha Wayne, I guess, had like some sort of like embarrassing history. Like she had like a history of mental illness or something that they didn't want getting out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of wondering, like, how embarrassing was this mental illness exactly? Was she like crazy, or was she? I don't know.
Right, right. I mean,
Was it really going to hurt their public image?
I don't know if it was that damning. I don't know. It feels a little tenuous to me. Like, really,
Was she
the
like
mental illness
schizophrenic
would
or
be.
something? Like split personalities? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess you asking that question makes me wonder. Yeah, how bad really was it? And even if it were, it's not her running the city; it's her husband. So
Right, exactly.
kind of odd. I don't know.
Maybe it was just like
Old
the way
times.
that things were back then. Like you
Sure,
had
they cared about that.
maybe had a trophy wife, and then she needed to be absolutely perfect. And if she wasn't, then everyone would kind of look down on you.
Right,
Different
or
standards.
yeah, they'd be under public scrutiny. I mean, negative ramifications there really would be aside from just having their reputation. I mean, because it doesn't really affect their reputation per se. It's not really that she's sick, although they could imply that. Well, what if she is going to be sick? Even if that were the case, then I don't know. Then he shouldn't run after all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hey, maybe he should quit
Why
after
are
all.
you so embarrassed by it? Why are you trying to cover it up? Type of thing.
Right, right. Exactly. It's really not bad. I don't know. I feel like yeah, there wasn't really anything bad about it. I don't know what else to say. I was gonna be like,
At least from what like our stance on it. But what I
right.
was kind of getting from this was, I wonder if this is kind of where Bruce gets his mental illness from, because without a shadow of a doubt, Bruce Wayne has some mental illness going on. He's kind of fucked up in the head himself.
Yeah, he's obsessive and
So I wasn't quite sure. It was kind of an interesting take to reveal that one of his parents had something going on like this, because I always felt like in all of the other origin stories, Bruce was fucked up because he witnessed his parents die. But I wonder if it's a combination of that and maybe some sort of hereditary mental illness going on.
Right, right. Yeah, a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect storm.
Yeah. And it really just like broke him, sent him over
Mm-hmm.
the edge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Made him snap.
Bruce always had this really positive image of his dad. Like his dad was a stand-up man and always did what was right, and he tried to just help Gotham City as much as he could. But the Riddler was kind of trying to spin this story that his dad was kind of a piece of shit. He's like, look, your dad hired someone to kill this journalist because he found out something about your family.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
what does that say about your family? So this was the whole like sins of the father type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they flat out say exactly that this is what happened, but I had a feeling that they were alluding to the fact that the Riddler was a child at this orphanage that the Wayne family was funding. And so that's how he knew the Waynes.
Right,
Do you feel like
right.
that was explained to you?
I think it. I feel. I don't remember them actually explicitly saying it, but yeah, I remember it being sort of implied.
Mm-hmm.
Him just describing growing up. Doesn't the Riddler go into explanation about his childhood a little bit?
I thought so. I thought he did mention something like that. Like,
Yeah, like losing
I
his
was,
parents, something like that.
uh-huh.
His dad was his everything. I think that's what it was. His dad was his like world.
And so, maybe in a lot of ways, he did look at Bruce as like the spoiled rich kid that didn't appreciate what he had, didn't deserve it,
Right,
and
right.
then maybe in a way because the Waynes were so involved in this orphanage that he almost felt like Thomas Wayne was a father figure to him, even though he never actually like maybe even met him. After Falcone and his men kill the journalist, Thomas Wayne's like freaked out. He that's not what he wanted. He wanted Falcone to just scare this journalist and keep him hush hush. But Falcone, he was like, "Hey, so what's the best way to keep someone's mouth shut? Take him out." So that's what we did.
Right.
And so slept him.
Slept him.
And
Put him to sleep.
I think as he was dealing with that, he kind of forgot about the orphanage. Obviously, like this is like a pressing matter and very stressful situation for him. He didn't know what he was going to do, and he was kind of contemplating like turning himself in as well as Falcone because they were kind of in it together. I think at first he was just going to turn in Falcone for what he did and just try to stay out of it. But I think Falcone was like, no, we're in the shit together. Like they're going to be able to track you. They're going to be able to link you to me. I didn't just go out of my way to do this for you, like you asked me to do this. You hired me.
Right.
So this is basically a hit on someone.
Exactly. You asked me. You got to know I'm a pretty dirty dude. Anybody who, if you say otherwise, who's going to really believe you? Everyone knows that I'm the guy.
Right, exactly. So I think that's where the Riddler kind of feels betrayed, is that maybe he did think of him as a father figure as well, and then he just kind of felt like he was tossed aside, and he was like, oh yeah, Thomas Wayne really didn't give a shit about us after all. Apparently he just pretended like he did to maybe make himself look better. Bruce is kind of torn up to hear all this news. Like he's just like, what the fuck? Like his world kind of got turned upside down.
Yeah.
And so he goes to visit Alfred in the hospital, and that's where we find out that he survived the bomb. And actually, right. he's not even really burnt up either. He doesn't look like Two-Face or anything.
I would have thought he'd be burnt. Sheesh. But I guess because his face wasn't lying in oil, it was. There you go.
Oh, true. Yeah. So Catwoman, she ends up like calling Gordon and Batman to the top of this like, I guess it's like a half-built skyscraper or something, and it's revealed that she abducted that corrupt cop. And this is where she also reveals to Batman as well as the audience that the reason why she acts so weird about Carmine Falcone is because Falcone is actually her biological father.
Spoiler alert. Boom. There it is.
Yeah. And somehow she also managed to have this voicemail. Like I guess her friend knew that some shit was going to go down when she confronted Falcone. So she already had like this voicemail recording to Selena Kyle, and that's where Falcone can be heard strangling Annika in the voicemail.
Right.
And so that's how Catwoman knows that her friend was killed by her biological dad, who she already dislikes anyway. She's like, she kind of feels betrayed by her father as well, you know? I think this is where you finally find out who the informant is. And I guess to the audience, like if you were kind of confused with this whole informant storyline, the reason why through the whole movie everyone was trying to figure out who this informant was because the informant is the person that led to this like huge bust and the downfall of Salvatore Maroni, who I think was like the big gang operation in Gotham City at the time. So Salvatore Maroni's operation was basically, I think it was kind of untouchable. Like it was way too powerful for law enforcement to even take down. They essentially had this chokehold on Gotham. So there was almost like this power void when once the informant threw Salvatore Maroni under the bus and they were able to finally take him down. Who stepped in when there's that void, that vacuum? That was Carmine Falcone. So he kind of like took over right where Salvatore Maroni left off. So that's the big reveal, was that Carmine Falcone was the informant this whole time. And I guess I don't know. To me, this was a big stretch, but the whole rat with wings riddle turned out to be Falcon. As in Falcone.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm like, that's pretty dumb if that's really what they're alluding to. I'm like, El Rata Alada is the rat with wings, as in a falcon, not a bat.
Right.
A falcon. I've never once thought that. What the hell?
Yeah.
So that was a big stretch in my opinion. I don't know if anyone else thought that made sense, but I thought that was a big stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you think about it, if you break it down, a mole, an informant is a rat because he's ratting people out, right? Oh, he's a rat, but his last name is of a bird, so he's got wings. So it is a rat with wings. It's kind of like a softball pitch. Like, here you go, guys. It's not too hard to believe, right? Even though the imagery may not hold up. It's like, oh, they'll get there. They'll get there.
So maybe that's what they were going for. But nonetheless, I kind of rolled my eyes on that part. I'm like,
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Oh, me too.
But anyway, yeah, Selena Kyle explains to Batman and Gordon that she's going to go kill Falcone and, for killing her friend and for basically being a piece of shit in general. Batman's like, no, let us handle it. She's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. So she throws the corrupt cop off the roof, knowing that Batman's going to save him. And that gives her enough time to kind of run off and get a head start. Now, Selena she's at the... Are they hanging out at the Iceberg Lounge again? I feel like they keep going back to this same setting.
Yeah, I don't remember. They're like upstairs.
Yeah, like maybe it's some sort of like loft area.
I think
like
so. I thought there was
room.
like an elevator. Yeah. She went. I think she did go back.
I feel like they visit this Iceberg Lounge like 4 or 5 times in the movie.
Yeah,
I almost feel like it's a little excessive because I'm sure there are other areas in Gotham City that can be shown, but they just want to keep using the same settings. Maybe that's part of the whole the source material. Like maybe that was like an ode to the Batman comics or something, is that a lot of the detective work would be revisiting a lot of the same set pieces or whatever. So I don't know, maybe it was just in the same vein as that. But
right.
I've noticed it every single time. I'm like, back at the Iceberg Lounge. And another thing that kind of annoyed me too was every time they go back to the Iceberg Lounge, they only go through the entrance, like every single time. So Batman has gone through this entrance both as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. Selena Kyle only uses the entrance. Is there no other way into the building? Like no window that they can sneak through, no vent that they can crawl through? It's just this one main entrance.
That's a good question. I guess the question would be why? Why do they always go through the main entrance? Is it and I almost wonder if it's not just to just show them beating up the people at the front that don't want to let them in at the
twins,
like,
right?
The
twin
twins,
bouncers,
right? So it's like they just want to give them another shot, to get messed up because they were jerks to him at the beginning. Were they jerks? They weren't jerks to her. They were jerks to him.
Yeah, no, I think they let her right in, and I think they also let Bruce in, but Batman they try to fight.
Right. Oh, okay. That's right.
I don't know. I was just thinking that surely there's another way to sneak in that our beloved ninja detective can muster up, but I guess not.
No ninja way. He's like, no, I got all this shit on me. I like to see them try. I'd like to see them try.
And so Batman gets there just before Selena Kyle is able to kill Falcone. And I think Falcone even tries to kill her at some point, but Batman gets there, stops him, arrests him, and he's escorting him out. So he's doing what he likes to do. He'll beat them up, sure, but he won't kill them. He just wants to make sure that they get their justice. They get what they deserve, but in a good way.
In a good way.
And this was actually kind of interesting because you kind of see another power shift on the way out, because Penguin was always loyal to Falcone, but once he sees that Falcone is kind of fucked, I think Penguin starts talking back to him, and he's like, really? Like, he kind of grows some balls, you know, as Falcone is in handcuffs. And so Falcone is like kind of talking shit to him. He's like, really? You're going to start like mouthing off to me now all of a sudden? Like, this whole time you've been a little bitch, and now you want to come at me now that Batman's here? And so, you know, they're kind of arguing or whatever, and Batman's handing Falcone off to the police, to the proper authorities, and then he gets sniped. So he gets taken out. Surprise ending for Falcone. Of course, you know, after Falcone gets sniped, everyone's able to identify where the shot came from. It's coming from like this third floor window across the street. So everyone just storms that apartment, and there's no one there, but they know that it's the Riddler's apartment because there's just like shit all over the place, and there's a lot of evidence there. I think even his mask is there, and so like, oh shit, this is the Riddler's apartment. What I thought was kind of interesting about this scene was I thought that as intelligent as the Riddler was, why would he just flee to some nearby diner and then just like chill and wait for the cops to show up? Like, I felt like he would have had an actual well thought out or elaborate escape plan, you know, with even a possible chase scene that like gets thwarted by Batman or something. But no, he just kind of like runs downstairs, and then he just goes to the diner, and that's like right there. And the cops identify him, you know? It's actually like bystanders. They're like, yeah, that guy that ran out, he's just right over there.
Right.
It's
Which is,
odd.
I think, interesting that, yeah, it is odd, but he is an odd person. And it's almost like, you know, he wanted things done a certain way. Like he wanted, maybe he's reducing variables so that he doesn't just die in the pursuit, or Batman doesn't die in pursuit of him. But instead he just gets put into a mental institute. Or yeah, he was in Arkham
Yeah,
Asylum.
I think he gets arrested first, and then they find out that dude's wacko, so they send him to Arkham Asylum.
Right. So I think, yeah, it's just it's twisted how he lets himself get caught like that.
Yeah, it's obvious that he wants to get caught, but the way that he was kind of explaining it to his little online community was that he's like, by now I'll surely be arrested. He didn't explain to them that he's like, okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to get arrested now. You know, I'm going to kill Falcone. I'm going to get arrested. Then you guys do your thing. It's like he said that I'll probably be arrested by the time this all goes down. So you guys need to kind of pick up the slack for me. You know, and everyone and his community is like, yeah, we're fucking down. Let's do this.
Right. In a way, it's like, I almost wonder if he purposefully gets caught so that the police let their guard down, because now they're not going to be expecting the Riddler to be doing anything. They're going to kind of rest a little more at ease. Like, we got him. He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
You know, we don't understand him, so we're going to look at him like he's this odd, you know, he's this enigma that we're here to try to crack. But hey, the problem's solved.
That's true. Because you notice that too. Once they arrest him, everyone kind of like starts like winding down a bit, and then was just, okay, so let's just go back up to the apartment, let's search around, let's see if we can find any more clues. So everyone's just kind of taking their time now. Like, there's no urgency because we already got the guy. And it even takes him a little bit to break or crack into that like secure chat that he had with his online community, because that's where they find out that, you know, there's another plan in place. But what'd you think of the true identity of the Riddler? Like, I know that we already knew who the actor was, but what'd you think of like the way that he was depicted in the movie?
I liked it. I thought Paul Dano, he can just play that kind of creepy, sinister character really, really well. So just kind of this unassuming type, but you know, you can sense the danger. But behind those kind eyes.
Not so
and
kind
that sweet
eyes.
and that sweet boyish look of his. Yeah, I thought that it was I thought it was pretty good. It was obviously, like we mentioned before, a very different depiction than the 60s Riddler and of course Jim Carrey's. The 60s
Really
of course
over
being
the
real
top
campy,
and campy, right?
and then Jim Carrey's kind of bridging that, go edging more, kind of 50-50. It seemed actually more campy, I would say, than anything else, but that definitely had his dark moments.
I liked it. Yeah, I mean, he kind of, like you said, he has this unassuming look to him. And I really got the sense that he was probably out in the open, for everyone to see this entire time and no one thought anything of him. You probably
Mm-hmm.
just think, oh, he's just some nerdy kid. Whatever, leave him alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Totally unassuming.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's why they were kind of also shocked. Not only are they like, he just ran to the diner, then when they see him in the diner, they're like, this guy?
Hmm.
You
Exactly.
know? Like, all right, I guess do it.
Did you catch that look too? Like, as they like plant his face down on the counter and he glances over,
Mm-hmm.
sees Batman through the window, and he just like smiles at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is all part of our plan, right, Batman? Like he
Exactly. Like,
still thought
hey,
that they were like in on it together.
exactly. He's like, you're there on cue. Cool.
Hmm.
You're by now it's already making sense to you that this is the right thing that we're doing here. That what I've been cooperating with you in doing is finally coming to fruition.
Hmm. So this is where Batman visits the Riddler, aka, as we find out now, his real name is Edward Nashton. And Batman is attempting to understand Nashton and kind of find out what his plan was, or if there's even anything else besides like what's already transpired.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really love this scene because I think we interpreted their relationship a little differently. So for me, I thought that what they were alluding to was that Edward Nashton hated the Wayne family due to the sins of the father. So he disliked Thomas Wayne, and by proxy, he also hates like his wife and his son. And since Bruce is the last remaining member of the immediate Wayne family,
Mm-hmm.
he also wants to take him out as well. He feels that Bruce needs to pay for what his father did to him, or what he feels like his father did to him. I got the sense that Nashton hates Bruce but really likes Batman, and that's why I think that he doesn't know that Bruce is Batman, because he's talking shit about Bruce and the Wayne family to Batman, expecting Batman to agree with him. And then they even allude to the fact that the Riddler's like, I know who you are. Batman is like fucking shitting bricks right now. Like there's like guano collecting in his bat suit right now.
Yeah.
Did that seem like that was the case for you, or you felt like you interpreted it a little differently?
No, definitely shitting bricks. That's at least the vibe that I was getting.
But then he continues talking, and that's when he explains. He's like, "You're just like me. We're one and the same, and we're trying to achieve the same thing in the city. We're trying to take out the corrupt people in power and whatnot." And I think that's when Batman's like, "Oh fucking thank God." Oh shit. Oh, for a second I thought he was gonna say he knew that I was Bruce, but no, he's okay. Whew, let me just gather myself.
Let me gather myself.
I'm vengeance. Okay.
All right. I'm vengeance.
I actually really liked that moment in the film, because I was kind of like, the ball's in Riddler's court now if he actually knows his identity. But I got the sense that he didn't know that they were the same person.
Yeah, I got that sense too. Yeah, I mean, well, initially, but no. See, the thing is, he knows that his dad. He knows it's his dad. He talked about how it was his father. He's like, no, it's your dad. Don't you remember? Isn't he saying it in the cell? He's like, Bruce Wayne. He's
Hmm.
like,
I think that's the director kind of almost making it seem like he was talking directly to Batman, but I think he was talking to Batman about Bruce Wayne. So I think he was like talking shit about Bruce Wayne to Batman,
hmm.
expecting him to agree with him. At least that's what it looked like to me.
I thought he knew that it was his father, but all right.
That's what I got from it when I saw it. Regardless of that, Batman tells him that he's nothing like the Riddler, doesn't admire him, isn't his teammate, isn't his friend, isn't his colleague, and this crushes the Riddler. So the Riddler was really expecting Batman to kind of be on his side, and I think he expected this visit to be like, hey, so what do you need me to do type of thing. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now Batman's like almost attacking him.
Mm-hmm. He's like, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, he's like, I'm nothing like you. You're fucking crazy. And I think this is also, it plays with the whole like, I think Batman is crazier than the villains that he chases because he doesn't think he's crazy. He thinks he's perfectly normal and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't realize that normal people don't go around dressing up like bats. But people make fun of him for it, and they mention it a lot of times. Like, I think Joker mentions it, Riddler mentions it, and every time like it's brought up, like Batman's just like, he's like, nah, like, you know what you're talking about, you're crazy. I'm not crazy, you're
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
I went to your schools, your churches, your institutional learning facilities. I'm not crazy. Do you know what song that is?
Nah.
That's institutionalized. I digress. So the Riddler, in anger, this is where he reveals that he isn't quite finished yet, and there's something big about to happen. So Batman's like, "Oh shit! I need to check the apartment again and figure out what's going on." This is also another scene where I thought was a little like, really, was that Batman discovers the whole like floor plan under the carpet, right? But
Right.
he gets
Right.
lucky because fucking cop extra number 9 or whoever the fuck, whatever his character's name was like, oh yeah, that's a flooring tool, my cousin or whoever uses that for his flooring business. So Batman didn't know what the fuck that murder weapon was this whole time. Like, he couldn't Google it, or he can't use like some AI assisted search from his computer in the Batcave to figure out what the fuck
Yeah.
this murder weapon was.
Yeah. Why didn't he think about? Yeah, that's an interesting point. Why did he just gloss over this piece of evidence, like, and not think that it has its own significance? That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's the Riddler. Why wouldn't there be some significance since everything else is significant, including sending those little like birthday cards or
Get well
greeting
cards or
cards?
whatever. Yeah, greeting
Get well,
cards.
yeah.
And it's a unique looking tool. It's not something that everyone just has lying around the house. It's like
Yeah.
something to like either rip up flooring or like help plant it. He was killing people with this specific tool, and he would leave it there at the crime scene, so they knew that what weapon was being used. And then Batman was just now piecing two and two together. So he was like, oh shit, okay. So this
Hmm.
flooring tool, maybe there's something in the floor. So that's when he rips up the carpet and he discovers there's a whole entire map, like a topical map of Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't there like lights or something where the bombs are stationed? There's like something blinking.
Oh, yeah. I thought there was something like that. Yeah. So it's all laid out.
I think they even find out that it's kind of strategically placed along like the retaining wall of this river that runs parallel to
Right.
Gotham City. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they think like, oh shit, he's gonna blow this retaining wall. But before they can even do anything, I think shit just starts blowing up immediately. The plan was already in motion, like the Riddler was saying. The city basically just starts getting fucked immediately. I think around this time too, before he even rips up the flooring, that's when they find out that there's that whole community, the online community that is going to be assisting. So he knows that he has friends, but he doesn't know where they're going to be. And he knows that there's like something placed along this retaining wall, likely bombs. So the bombs blow up, city starts flooding. And I guess towards the center of Gotham City, somewhere, they have like this giant arena. So everyone just naturally starts like gathering there to like take shelter from the rushing waters.
Mm.
And I don't know if you noticed it, but I thought it was actually kind of funny that it was called Gotham Square Garden.
Oh my gosh.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, everyone
Gotham
just starts collecting in there to kind of take refuge from the water, the rising tide. That's where the audience is shown that the Riddler copycats are gathering in the rafters of this
Mm-hmm.
arena. So like, oh shit, this is all part of the plan right here. I don't know if they're gonna blow up the arena or if they're gonna just like start like shooting people from the rafters or whatever. But yeah, this is all like part of their ploy. So I would say this is the climax of the movie, but in quotes, I actually felt like this may have been one of the worst parts of the movie for me. It's getting everywhere. Everything,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's destroying everything. Nothing's going to be working. It's like a big hit to the infrastructure. It kind of reminded me of how Man of Steel, they're basically fucking up Metropolis. And I'm like, this is gonna take freaking ages to repair all this shit. All the shit that they're destroying.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was kind of annoyed by like how much damage Gotham City itself was taking. Batman goes to this arena and they find out that the mayor-elect gets shot. And my friend was actually saying like he thought that was the best part of the movie because he thought she was super annoying.
Oh no.
But yeah, Batman comes in and he's all thinking he's hot shit and he's about to fuck people up. Dude, he gets immediately like overwhelmed by these nobodies. Also felt like that was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he took on who was he fighting in the dark? Was it them? Was it those people?
Oh, I
it
think
was those people.
wait, with the muzzle flash scene.
Right.
That one? I think those were the Falcone Goonies.
That's right. So those guys had like way more training. And he put them down pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was a little.
And he was walking through those shots, so they were like just unloading in his chest, and he was just walking right through it. But then he's here. I don't know what his plan of attack was, but he needed like a way better plan because all he did was he like just starts walking up to like one of them, and he just like starts punching them, thinking that the rest of them were not going to do anything. So like
Right.
obviously like he takes like one or two out, but then the rest start shooting at him, and he's like, oh. So now he's just like hanging from the little like screen or whatever, the little jumbotron.
Yeah.
And Catwoman has to intervene and save his ass.
Yeah.
But then she's also kind of getting fucked up too. So I'm like, both of the heroes are just getting fucked up by these nerds that they met online. That the Riddler kind of amassed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was just a little annoyed by that. Maybe it would have been better if they had some like military training or something. I don't know, but they never explained any of that.
Right.
I think Catwoman almost gets killed by the last remaining one. Batman's already kind of like, I think he takes like a shotgun blast to the chest, like point blank, and he's like incapacitated. Catwoman's trying to kind of revive him, and then she's like getting choked out, and Batman busts out a little like adrenaline shot, like Pulp Fiction status, like to boost himself up.
Right.
What did you make of that scene where he like right after he gives himself the adrenaline shot, pounding that guy's face in with his fist, and he's not stopping? Like,
yeah. I was like, oh, he's pushing it. Wow, this might be the one that he actually kills.
Right? Exactly.
He was pushing it to the edge there, and it's like he had less control because of the adrenaline.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
The aggression, just like
he just wasn't thinking clearly. Because I mean, I feel like he was also pretty concussed as well. It seemed like he wasn't in the right state of mind, and he's jacked up on Mountain Dew.
He's jacked up on Mountain Dew. Yeah, so he put the hurt on that guy.
I did think there was a really cool feature to the suit, which I didn't even realize this was what it was the whole time. But he has a removable batarang in his chest. And it's not revealed until he sees that live wire hanging from the rafters, and it's like getting dangerously close to touching the waters with all the civilians below. So he jumps to it, and he's gonna be all heroic and cut the cable. I don't know, I guess risk getting shocked, but I would assume his suit was shock resistant or something. Maybe not. I just assume that. But yeah, that's where he pops the batarang off his chest. So his bat symbol is a batarang. Which I don't think I've ever seen in any Batman portrayal ever. I thought that was actually pretty interesting. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
It gives his suit more utility.
Yeah, exactly.
In his moment of heroics, he cuts the cable that he's hanging from, and then he plummets to his death. But I don't know if they were trying to make it seem like he was going to die because he was getting shocked by this live wire when he cuts it, or if he was going to fall from or he was going to die from the fall.
Right.
I don't think anyone thought that Batman was going to die in the scene at all.
No.
They're just trying to make it seem like he was going to.
They definitely built it up, and I was like, really? I don't know about all that. Oh, he's going to die. We just did one movie.
Yeah, and then, he pops up like 2 seconds later out of the water. He's perfectly fine. Right. Then he lights the flare, and, it's the whole, iconic scene where he's just kind of, wading through the water with the flare. And what I thought was kind of comical was that he walks over to the debris. People are I guess they're kind of trapped in the debris as the rushing water's coming in, and they're just really panicked and they don't know what to do. So he's just walking over there to guide them out. He offers to help the mayor-elect first, the one that got shot. And she's just like, I ain't fucking going with you, you crazy motherfucker. So he's like, all right. And so he extends his hand to a child.
Mhm.
And then so once he everyone sees that this child is trusting him and he's not hurting the child, then the mayor elect's like, all right, I guess I'll go with you. So after he helps those two people, he just says, all right, the rest of you can fucking help yourselves. I'm done. And so he just starts walking away. Is he not going to help the rest of them? Like, is no one else trapped under some debris? Like, he only cares about this child and the mayor elect. That's it.
Right.
And then, he starts walking away and everyone's just like following him like cattle. And so he's guiding the way, he's the beacon.
Right, and have that big overhead shot. It was just
Mhm.
a little over dramatic for me.
All these elements together are why I thought the climax of the movie was kind of underwhelming, because there's just a lot of stuff that I'm just kind of like, that's eye rolly.
Yeah, same.
Did you like the climax of the movie? Did you feel like you thought of it
I
differently?
mean, it definitely felt at times like it grabbed me. But then, yeah, then that during those scenes, it definitely made me question, like, is he really in trouble with these people? And like, are they really that they really got him beat?
So the internal dialogue that Batman has towards the end of the movie, he's kind of explaining that all he's really tried to do was invoke fear in his enemies, but I think he didn't realize that he was invoking fear in pretty much everyone. So I think that's why people were kind of hesitant to go with him initially. He's starting to kind of rethink his strategy a bit, and I think he wants to be more of like a symbol of hope for Gotham, not just this person to fear, but he also wants to be a positive figure as well.
Mm, right.
He's almost having this epiphany.
He's starting to own it. He's fighting this crime, but he's not necessarily doing it to be liked by a bunch of people. He's just doing it because it's the right thing to do, and because he wants to just get vengeance on people more than anything else. Justice.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be a couple years in as Batman. He still has a lot of growing to do, and I think he's still trying to figure stuff out. Obviously, hopefully he learns from his mistakes, and he's not gonna just approach a bunch of people and just start like trying to punch them. Like, he's gonna actually have a plan of attack next time. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then Riddler makes a new friend in Arkham Asylum. So did you automatically think that this was Joker?
Yes.
That was like everyone's first thought, was like, this motherfucker's Joker. To me, he didn't sound anything like Joker. Even like how they were kind of like chuckling, as like it was like fading out. They were like laughing together. None of the laughs sounded like Joker to me. So I just assumed it was going to be someone else. But I guess everyone was in the same mindset, and everyone's like, no, that's 100% Joker. It wasn't confirmed until they actually went back and released that deleted scene. I felt like it was still kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I certainly I know that it didn't give it away entirely. It was still questionable, but I did have my suspicion that it would be Joker in there. That was who he was talking to.
It could have been Mr. Freeze or someone. I just like choose another villain. I'm like, we've already seen Joker plenty of times. Let's. He has this whole other rogue gallery that we can go through.
Sure, no, it's true, but at the same time, it's like there's this fascination with the Joker, and so it's almost like that's what people want to see. So kind of give them what they want. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, I get it. It's fan service.
Yeah.
We gotta. Everyone wants the Joker. We gotta give him the Joker.
Right. At the end of the day, he's a director doing this big blockbuster. He wants to get butts in seats, and it could also who knows where that directive came from to make it be the Joker, if it was written by Ben Affleck that way or if it was intended to be a different way.
In the very end of the movie, we see Selena Kyle. She went to go visit Falcone's like gravesite, maybe so that way she can like piss on it. But yeah, she didn't really like him, so I don't think she feels sad at all. I think she's just kind of like, yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm glad you're dead.
I'm not sure. It's yeah, she. All I can say is we just know that she goes there, but like, who knows? Maybe she wishes deep down that he had been a better guy for her. I mean, it is her father, and it's like having that relationship to somebody else. It's really, of course, really special. So it's like, as much as she resented him for being who he was in so many ways.
Do you think that she was almost having this internal struggle herself, where she went there with the intent of taking his life, and someone else took it for her, and then she was just kind of like thinking now, like, damn, I almost got to that point where I was going to take my own father's life, and now she's kind of feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, Yeah, in a way, it's like it could be that she's making amends. Yeah, that she's showing up there at his gravesite to just kind of, in some way, pay her respects to the man that she called, to the man she knew to be her father, not because he deserved her respect for any other reason, but just from the simple fact that that was her father. I don't know about if respect is the right word, but just at the very least, like I don't know what you would call that. She just wanted to be there.
Maybe she was just closing that chapter in her life, you know, like she at this point she won't have to worry about it anymore. Like it's just, you know, like she can be whoever she wants to be now. She doesn't have to worry about this
Right.
guy.
She can ride off in one of the cheesiest motorcycle scenes of all motherfucking time. I was like, are they seriously going to just keep dragging this fucking thing out? Why?
Wait, well, you didn't like their relationship, their dynamic?
Oh, I like their relationship. I mean, Zoe Kravitz is gorgeous, of course. And I like the two of them together.
You
I
thought they
just
had
thought
a
that,
that good chemistry?
yeah, I did. I really did think that. So, um, it was of course, it's always a bummer to see them part ways because it always seems like Catwoman's parting ways with Batman. They're just too different. They want different things.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes and somehow the same thing. It's just in different ways.
But that motorcycle scene when they're
That motorcycle
leaving.
scene was terrible. I was like, you guys gonna drag this shit out? Like they're just following each other. Like you already said goodbye.
So I also liked the chemistry between them. I did think that their relationship did develop pretty quickly in this movie. Like it seemed
Hmm.
like it was just like, "Hi, I'm Batman. You know, you're kind of cute. Let's work together." Like there should have been more distrust up until maybe like towards the end of the movie, and then I think that would have maybe finally convinced Catwoman, like, okay, you know, he might actually be a decent person. Was I the only one that noticed that Batman got friend zoned at the end of the movie? Did you see that? So like they're kind of like staring at each other. They're like sharing a moment, and then Batman's like he's kind of like hesitantly like leaning in, and she just like nah. You know that's when she decides like all right, let's bounce.
Yeah,
So
let's
yeah, he
bounce.
kind of got friend zoned at the end. At least that's what it looked like to me.
The way I see it is, yeah. I guess you could see it as friend zoned. To me, I see it more as like she's being a cat and she wants to be chased. You know, she's being how cats can be. You know, where you try to pet them and they might just be they might be aloof. They do their own thing. She's being a cat. She's doing her own thing. She's walking away, and right when he's like wanting her, it just makes him want her that much more, and that's what she's doing it for.
At this point, she's thinking like Gotham City can't be saved. I'm over the city. I'm moving on. And Batman's like, no, like I want to stay. I want to defend it. I want to protect it.
Yeah.
So when at the crossroads, do you think she would have wanted Batman to go with her, or do you think like she knew that he was gonna stay?
Yeah, I think she knew he was going to stay. She just had to put the question to him still. Because I mean, I think that's kind of the appeal. He knows what he wants, and she likes that. She's attracted to him because he knows what he wants and he goes after it. She knows that that has to do with Gotham. As much as she wants him to go with her as well, she realizes that this is just who he is.
You know, they kind of leave it ambiguous, and you know, perhaps she can show up later, maybe in the third movie. Who knows? And she'll be back, and maybe she'll want to continue that relationship.
Yeah, you never know.
That is a wrap, folks. If you made it to the end of our podcast, then surprise, you've been admitted to Arkham Asylum.
You're in good company.
Any final thoughts or closing comments?
Happy to have another Batman movie. I've been a Batman fan since I was a kid.
Is he your favorite comic book character?
No, although he may not be my favorite now. There's a soft spot in my heart for him. So yeah, and
Yeah.
Pattinson did a great job, and I thought the whole cast was good.
I think hands down, on the DC side, he might be my top favorite. I just always felt like I love the fact that he's such a flawed character, and that just makes him more appealing. And also the fact that he doesn't have powers, but he's like fighting people with powers. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
just gets it done with his gadgets.
Right, with his gadgets, exactly, with his ingenuity. Yeah, I like him in DC. I think my favorite characters are in Marvel, but for sure, Batman is up there in DC.
You know, I don't want the audience to think that I was just shitting on this movie. I just felt like, you know, it had some weak moments like the El Rata Alada and the informant plotline and getting blown up with no fatal injuries. But
Yeah,
I don't know, overall, it was a great start. You know, if they still plan to do a trilogy, you know, they had intriguing takes on the characters. This is definitely a different take on the Riddler than I've ever seen. And I think what I really love the most about this movie, I loved the atmosphere of Gotham. It might be the best take on Gotham City in any live action Batman movie, in my opinion. I think out of the Batman movies, this may have been one of the ones with the least amount of action. How'd you feel about that? It was more focused on like detective work and crime solving.
Yeah, you were mentioning something like that earlier about him just being doing detective work, and I think that's like a refreshing take on it as well. He doesn't have to just be like beating the shit out of people all the time. It's a little more interesting when he's using that big brain of his.
Yeah, I was really digging it. I think a lot of people kind of forget that Batman's super intelligent, because most of the time he's just whooping ass. He can solve crimes too without punching someone in the face. Like how you're saying, it felt really refreshing. And I did want to mention the deleted scene that was released after the movie came out. So this was released on YouTube, right?
Right.
The deleted scene we're talking about is the one where I want to say, from what it seems like where the scene picks up, this was supposed to be somewhere in the middle of the movie. So before they stop the Riddler, I think at some point Batman visits Arkham Asylum and meets with the Joker. And I just thought the way that they played the scene out was excellent.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was for anybody who's seen Silence of the Lambs, it was very much a Clarice and Hannibal Lecter interaction.
For sure, because it's like you got Batman coming in. This is like his first time interacting with the Joker. This is our first time seeing this depiction of Joker. And I love the way that it was shot, because for most of this scene, and this is only like a 10-minute scene, if that. It's not a very long scene, but for most of it, the Joker's out of focus, or he's like, kind of like hidden behind, obscured by some sort of object
in the distance, or it's much closer. So you start to get little features. You get a lot more details of certain features. You don't actually get to see the whole person.
And then it shows like a clear shot of the back of Joker's head, and you start seeing like he has like this patchy hair and he has a bunch of scarring. He looks like a burn victim. So I wonder if those are like chemical burns, because in the Tim Burton movie, Joker fell into like a chemical bath, and that's kind of what transformed him.
Yeah,
I was really focused on their conversation too, because Batman is going here looking for help. So he's trying to have the Joker help him figure out who the Riddler is. He has no intention of helping you. He just wants to kind of play around with you, and making him seem like he's going to help him. And so Batman just gets frustrated. He's like, all right, you're not going to help me. I'm wasting my time. The Joker actually says, like, before he leaves, that he thinks that Batman is scared of the Riddler because he thinks that they have too much in common.
He's in his head.
Yeah, rent free.
Yeah, rent free. Exactly.
Overall, like, how would you rank it? Would it be in your top 3?
No, certainly not. No. It's not cerebral enough. Yeah, so for me, I mean, definitely not top 3. What about you?
People consider it cop-out, but I still think The Dark Knight is my top Batman movie. And I would even go as far as to say Batman Begins is probably number 2. But I do think The Batman is number 3. So I think it's better than The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
If we're talking about top Batman movies, I would say, yeah, Dark Knight would still be number 1. Yeah, I guess I would say number 2 would be the Keaton. It would be Batman from the 80s. So that one would be number 2, and then number 3, I don't know. That would be tough to call. Maybe the Batman. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, for Colin Farrell's performance alone, I think.
Damn,
I would say that this is. Yeah, Colin Farrell for me just killed it.
Well, this has been Aflixionados Podcast, episode 11, The Batman. Just a reminder, we are available on all major podcast streaming services, with new episodes dropping on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. Thank you, listeners out there, for joining Michael and I, and we will see you all next time.
TTFN.
To the Batcave.
Inertia, brother. Inertia.